The header of almost every website starts with a brand identity, which usually consists of either the brand name, a logo, or often both. From a design perspective, it's pretty straightforward, but there's a little more to think about if we're trying to make sure it's accessible and if we want our code to be reusable across to multiple sites. So let's take a look. We'll start with just a link. The link will be to the site.url. Now this is a parameter that Etch gives us that will grab the URL of the current site. And this helps us make this element more portable between sites because we're not hard coding the site URL. We can also do the same thing with the title. We'll say site.name. This is the site title coming from the WordPress settings, but once again, Etch gives us access to it there. So in this case, it's Etch Sandbox, and we can look at that on the front end, and here we have it. So this is, I'm not actually putting it in the header. This, as it is pretty accessible already because of the location. If this were just randomly in content, maybe we would need a little more context, but just like we know without thinking about it, that if we click this, it'll probably take us to the home page. If something is read out here, once again, probably goes to the home page. If you just had text and it was like a sentence that was unrelated to the branding, maybe you would need some additional context in which you could add an ARIA label that would get read out. So for example, ARIA label equals go to home page. You could do that. However, the first rule, the official first rule of ARIA labels is to only use ARIA labels when you can't accomplish proper accessibility with built-in HTML. So in this case, built-in HTML is just the name in a link, and that is pretty good. Now, if we decide instead of the brand name, we want an image, in that case, let's change this real quick to be a logo. And now there's nothing for a screen reader to read out. So in this case, we do actually want some alt text. We don't need an ARIA label because the image tag already has an accessibility option built in. So we can use site.name here, and we can give it a little more context. Site name, logo, go to home page. And now we have an accessible link using a logo. Now let's say we want both. So we'll grab site name here, put it after the logo, but we run into an issue here because now site name, logo, go to home page is going to be read out, followed by site name again. So we can actually get rid of the alt text because we want to tell the screen reader, hey, we don't actually need to read out anything for this image. We just want to read out the site name, and so it will know we're intentionally treating this as decorative, not as part of the content. So we've handled accessibility. However, this is probably not how we want it to look. So what we'll do is we'll add a class right here of branding, and then inside there we'll say we want to display flex, so that puts them side by side. Align items center, and gap is 1 em. And there we have it. We may want some sort of hover or focus styles. Well, I think ACSS will actually give us the focus styles. Yep. And you may want to change that to match whatever. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. May want to change that based on the circumstances, but because there's quite a bit of variation on how you would handle that based on what the logo's like, if you're including text and all that. I won't get into the hover or focus styles in this tutorial. I just wanted to quickly go over how you can make an accessible brand identity area for a heading.